This is AGNR 131 lab exercise for part 2, effects of soil salinity on plant growth. And this is week 2, the closeout week. We've run this experiment for 2 weeks, so we'll just have a look and see what's changed since last week. So another week later, the plants have been running in their different levels of growing in their different levels of salinity. So let's start with the control over here. We got my hand kind of covering some of the other ones, but you can see here we've got I'll try to point what we've got here. We've got the radish here, and in the back I think we've got some we've got the beets. Everything compare these with last week's video. It's look pretty good. I don't really see anything. Got kale here in the front. There's a kale right here. So radishes, beets with the red leaves, and then kale here in the front. And then we've got squash. There's the squash looking pretty good right there. And then finally over here we've got the garden beans. And look, they're already starting to put out their flowers. We've got some good flowers on those coming out. So there we go for that. All right, so let's jump over here to, let's go the other side. See if we can sneak in here. I'm just gonna get a little bit. That'll make it better. All right, so yeah, this might be a little challenging. Okay, so here we are on the other side of the growing rack, and we've got the low salinity here. So this is our first level of salinity, and over here on the left here you can see the radishes again right here on this first one. Again, kind of hard to see with all the stuff, but you can see they definitely look pretty healthy. I don't see a lot of issues. Here's the kale. Let's see if I can move them just a little bit forward. Move some of this out of the way. Here's definitely the kale on that as I'm tilting forward. Those look pretty good. The beets here. Beets look to me about half the size of the other ones. Like they don't look quite as healthy. The radishes actually don't either. I'm kind of looking over there. I can see it, but you guys can't. Let's do the squash here first. This squash has got flower on it. I don't think the other ones did. Actually, you know what? I think we got these backwards. This one here is actually the garden beans. Yeah, we just labeled these wrong. We might have done that last time. So here's the garden beans. They've got flowers. The other ones did too. And then here's the squash. It's labeled wrong, but here's the squash. Now this guy to me doesn't look nearly as robust. I've got some of these lower leaves look like they're struggling a little bit. I don't see that on the other ones at all. So yellow leaf there coming through there. Some of those leaves are not as happy as the other ones. And the beets here in the front, definitely a lot smaller. So to me, the garden beans here, which are labeled squash, don't look too bad. The kale looks pretty good, and the radishes don't look too bad either. The radishes got maybe a little bit of burn on the sides there, but all in all, definitely a difference even with low salinity on that. Okay, let's go back around to the other side. Let's move these guys out of the way. Oops. All right. So here we go. Now we start to see a little bit of a difference over here. And you can see as I try to separate those that things are not looking good at all. The radish over here looks nearly dead to me. I don't really see anything. It's not quite crispy, but there's really nothing alive there on the radish. The kale again looks it's much smaller, but if you didn't have anything to compare it to, you might think it was okay. If you didn't know that some of the other kale looks so much more vigorous. So definitely this kale is a lot smaller, but other than that, doesn't look awfully bad. The beets are even smaller on the medium salinity than they are with the low salinity. Definitely don't look super happy, but they're not dead either. And let's go over here then to the squash. The squash. This should be pretty obvious what's happening. Much smaller. This one hasn't even. It looks like it might have tried to do a bud there, but you can see this is not. One of them looks. There's 3 of them in there. two of them look pretty much not even going to happen. That's the two in the front. This guy in the back is struggling. He's got some dead leaves. He's only got 2 leaves left. He's desperately trying to put forth another one, but not looking good. And then finally we have the garden beans under the medium salinity. There are 3 plants in here, and pretty much everything is just it's dead. I mean, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and just remove this and slightly put it over there like that. And so over here we have our high salinity, and let's start with what's in the front here. We got the radishes here. Everything there looks dry to me. There's the stems might still be alive, but they're definitely dry. This kale is almost crispy. The beets, surprisingly to me, the beets are not dead. The beets still have some, and I'm looking over at the medium salinity, and to me they look about the same. I don't really see a lot of difference. They don't look happy, so you have to go back and compare with there's a definite difference between the control and the low salinity, but between the medium and the high salinity, doesn't seem like a whole lot of difference. The summer squash here, you can see it's alive. It's alive, but that's about all you can say for it. I don't think it's going to be alive much longer. The garden bean here in the back, it actually looks not much better than the medium salinity. It's a little bit, well, it actually does look better than that one. They both look pretty bad, but this guy actually has one that seems to be, the one in the back seems to be, it's definitely suffering, but seems to be trying to make it happen. But this one in the front, and there's another one here too, they're both pretty much toast. So there we have it. That's the week 2. So these have been growing for 2 weeks in this, and you might want to go back and review the video because it's pretty short, and review the other ones, kind of make some notes about what you see with these different plants, the different salinity levels, and that will be, because I'm going to ask you questions that's going to relate to the observations on these as well. So thanks very much. That's the end of exercise 4, part 2.